Welcome back to Barrel Brothers. Beard's coming along quite well, thank you very much. And today we're back on the motorcycles. I wanted to thank, I can't remember who it is now. I should actually go back and thank you properly. For last time I did motorcycles, somebody suggested a Ballard's bike stand thingo, for working on bikes. I got onto the MX shop. Good guys, stopped sending me so many emails. Yeah, I just got to unsubscribe. Not your fault, mine. And bought one of these guys. This is a handy little thing. So you just put your bike up on it, and you see it clamps down on the foot pegs either side. And then one just tightens up the valve first. Recorded live before nobody. Anyway, that's basically at its highest setting. I know you wouldn't really want to come up much more than that. I mean, it's fairly high. Safety bar in through there. Clip so it doesn't fall out. Which you can't actually do with one hand. Your mighty car mod seat. And here you are, ready to work on your bike. Or the next sort of setting down, which is down about here. My favourite bike has let me down. Not that it's its fault. So I thought, you know, when remember I told you this, we got this thing and basically just had no compression and it needed a rebore. So we basically just popped the head off, got it rebored, put a new high compression piston in it, put it all back together, and away we went. I got him out yesterday. No back wheel. This is the back wheel's over here with no bearings in it. Always had a little bit of a drag, I don't know if you can see that, around there, and on the inside of the brakes there. It was kind of scraping. So I pulled that one out and found buggered bearings. The wheel was just off center, and as it was wobbling around, I always felt a little bit odd going up the road, that one. So got onto the MX shop again and ordered some bearings in. So they'll be here early next week. That's an easy job. This one is a little bit more of a drama. You may have noticed the spark plug sitting on the seat there. So I thought, oh, we'll take the other one. It needs, you know, a bit of a kick, bit of a ride around, give it a go. Because I like sort of blasting around the car, farting around the car park. It's good fun. And I just sort of, I had a brand new spark plug, which is the one on the right, ready to go. I pulled the old one out, and it was a little stiff coming out. I didn't think much of it, put the new one in, and you know, went tight, went easy. I went, oh, that's not good. Don't you hate it when you're tightening something up and it goes easy? Well, yeah. So I pulled it back out and had a look down the spark plug. Hold on, just get my torch going. I don't know if you see down in the hole there. R103s, you just never see them. Never came in a 13, never came in a 15 either. Only in a 14, only came in black and gold. Can you tell I'm procrastinating? And it's not about the bike is procrastinating for the President Radio. It's Saturday, so I got up this morning and right, by the end of the day I'm going to be driving the President and I'm going to be listening to tunes. So immediately I got stuck into the XR75s. And now I'm telling you about wheels. So when you're buying these little things, there's a couple of things that you need to look out for. So here's your bash plate, right? Pretty cool bash plate. But if you line that up, so have a look at the front of it. See here, we sort of cover over the crankcase. This side doesn't quite, and see this? You get this a lot, or a big hole knocked in there where something's just gone nuck straight into it. So, and these side covers are not easy to find. So yeah, all important bolt cup. I'll place it just here so I can casually knock it off later and have nuts and bolts all over the floor. So there you go, old bikes, 14 on one side, 17 on the other. XR75 tank. Looks like it'd hold a bit, wouldn't it? Nah, not much at all. Basically hollow. You just about take these things apart with a 10mm, you know. See, 10mm, 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 10mm. I found the trick with a lot of this rusty stuff, if you give it a good spray, and then if you can do it up just a fraction, just to get it to move, a lot of the time it'll come off a little bit easier. Another thing I've learned over the years is take the hard one off first. So if you take all the easy ones off and you get to the hard one, then you round it off, all you got to do is put all the other ones back on again. And a lot of the time, the hard one to get to has been rounded off or something like that because it's hard to get to. If you imagine everything's being held down like that over whatever, and then you take all the bolts out and there's only one left, it's all the pressure's on that one bolt. So if you keep the whole thing clamped down, undo your hard to get to one first, a lot of the time it'll make life a lot easier. You can actually buy these pipes, that's actually an aftermarket one. A company in New Zealand makes them. That had the wrong pipe on it, and I could, like, this, even with the dents, is considered a good condition XR75 pipe. But for all intents and purposes, see the little plate here and everything? Look at that, it's even got the pressed dent in it. That's pretty cool. See, it's got the dent here that's supposed to miss the kickstarter, that doesn't quite. That's a real one. That's an aftermarket. Very difficult to tell the difference. They both sound pretty good too. The later ones, they have a little spark arrestor thing on the back. They sound a little bit toothless tiger, but I like the stuff to have a little bit of noise. Oh, still can't get to that screw. These little ratchet spanners are like USBs. 70% of the time you put it upside down. There you go, it's had the desired effect. We have to find a timing mark of some sort. Let's put it on top dead center. I think that's probably then we'll just roll it around onto top dead center, which is the one with all the valves are shut, and leave it there. There's inlet, fire, exhaust, valve on that side, inlet again, and if we get that just over the top there we go. We should be able to see the piston. There's the top of the piston. Yeah, there it is. Top of the piston. So, that's where we're going to leave it. There you have it. With its lack of thread. Looks like it's had something bashing around there at some stage. Yeah, so I'll take it to the experts and get them to helicoil that spark plug hole, and we'll slap it all back together and away we go. How hard was it to actually get out? Well, so you couldn't slide the head up far enough to get it out against the frame here, which has made things quite difficult. So what we had to do, take these engine mount bolts out, and this top one, loosen that one off, and just like rock the whole engine forward, except that wouldn't go forward, of course. The chain was holding the sprocket, so we had to take the sprocket off and the chain in behind here, and it's got some good timing marks on the case and on the flywheel too, which is in behind here, which is good because I dropped the cam chain. Stuff happened, so I thought, I hope that there's timing marks in here, and there is, so that's no big drama. There's our chain tensioner there, that's the other side. There's our little Wiseco piston. Take the head down to probably Will and get him to helicoil that in the spark plug hole, and we'll second half of this when I come back we'll be putting it all back together again. The head is down with Will, and he's doing helicoiling the spark plug hole, so he'll be able to do that. This one here we have some bearings for the back wheel, so we're going to put those in today, and this kind of happened also. But I have extenuating circumstances. This one is a YZ80E from 1978-79, the first with the cantilever suspension on the back here, which means in the collection I now have the first and the last of the cantilever suspensions. I've got the YZ80J as well. So, and the other thing, the colour scheme is almost perfect. Okay, that's one down. So we might drop that down and give her a bit of a kickstart and see if she's working all right and everybody happy. Then we might have a look at the Yummy, mainly because we haven't had a real good look at it yet. But the main thing we've got to look at is probably this brake rod. It's supposed to be straight. Sliding up against the shelf there. Yeah, you can see that. So it's going to take some real delicacy to get this straight and some extreme violence. Oh, look at that, first go. So starting at the front, we've got a new aftermarket mudguard. We've got a very old tyre. That's a bit lumpy. Looks like we've got a little buckle in the wheel. That's fixable. We've got some rust on the forks, so we'll have to pull those off at some stage and give them to Will, because he's the suspension expert. We need a front number plate. Now, look at this, all powder coated frame. Tank's a little bit on the rough side. I think it's got a small dent there and a little one just here. Exhaust is all there, look at that, motor's all painted. The frame is all powder coated. Got a couple of scratches on the back wheel there, and the spokes are a little rusty, but all original exhaust. Apparently these are new old stock side plates, which is pretty damn cool. And this obviously isn't new old stock, that's old, that's original. UV stabilizers and plastics just weren't what they are today back in these days. You know, the other business here is plastics, so I've been doing it for 2 or 3 years. Yeah, so needs white. White was never a real flash color for UV, but I think we can probably get an aftermarket one for that, or see if we can find a new one. It's put a whole lot of new bolts in there. That's cool. So it's got a new seat cover that needs a little bit of stretching to make it fit, but the side covers are good. That looks brand new. It has a stand, and look at this, it's got an airbox. Those two things are massively just rare in these old bikes. If you were going to race it, and apparently they were all raced, because they took the stands off and the stands had just gone missing. You just can't find them. I was tempted to start up a company making stands for mini bikes once, but CBF. So apparently this the airbox is there, but it still needs an air filter. But yeah, I think a bit of a clean up, some new stickers. We take all the paint off that tank. It's in really good nick. There's he got this off another bike, and as you can see, there's hardly any rust in there, so that's good too. These old steel tank, you left fuel in them, they went rusty. I'll show you later. It actually starts and runs beautifully. Sounds really good. It's got a real nice crackle to it. So what we're working on is that brake rod. It goes through there. It's missing the spring, and it's like some sort of abstract piece of art, but we'll get that all straightened up. I'll see if I can round up a spray. I think the RM80C might have one. I'll go and have a look in the junk box for that. In the meantime, I'll find another one, but I wouldn't mind just sort of taking for a bit of a blat around the car park. That front tyre doesn't fill me with heaps of confidence, but we'll have to find some new tyres for it too. Pretty sure they're the same as the old XR75 one, so those are brand new tyres there, so I'm pretty sure that front one and this one are the same size. I'll suss that out and we'll see how we go. So we've got the brake rod pretty much the shape it's supposed to be. Took a bit of wangling and we wire wheeled it. I pinched this spring off the 1978 RM80 that we've got next door. So we'll have to get a new spring, and that we've got, but we're still missing, well, and we needed a washer and we need a split pin, which I don't have. See, it's got a little bend in the middle there. You see that? That's actually a factory bend. So this goes in there like that, and that little bend is so it clears, drops it on the floor, so it clears this. Don't worry, it's been through worse by the looks of things. Okay, and that's all there, but that goes to show you, because that hasn't got a split pin in, that's why it keeps falling out. We don't have the bit that sits in here. That looks to be about 12 mil, 13 mil. So I figure if we get a 12 mil bolt, cut a chunk out of it, and then drill a 6mm hole through it, so this will fit, that'll work. So here's my junky bolt. I'm going to start carving it up, and then we're going to whack a hole in the middle of it, and if this all works, I'll powder coat all of this so it's all nice and black and doesn't look as ratty as it does now. This, I don't know, can't really powder coat it. It's sort of a wear because it's got an edge on it. We'll figure something out for it. Cut a junker bolt. All it's missing now is a hole in the middle. It does fit in the hole pretty damn good. Make a 6mm hole through it. Get rid of these vice marks off the side so it goes in and out a little bit easier. And job done. There we have it. Courtesy of Mr. Lathe and Mrs. Bridgeport. These are the handiest things. If you like just making stuff, these are like a lathe's probably your number one. Number two would have to be a mill. It's amazing what you can actually make for these. Some of these things, like a couple of years back, nobody wanted them, so they were worth SFA, which is Australian for not a lot of money, but really a lot have a preference for the old stuff. They just don't make gear like that anymore. It's heavy, but it's just solid, and it's fixable and replaceable. A lot of the stuff these days is very flimsy, and it's like everything made these days, made to be thrown away. Yeah. Anyway, let's put this thing together, and then we're gonna have a bit of a blat. So this is why it takes me so long to do stuff. You know, you have your favourite spanner and your favourite screwdriver and your favourite everything. Well, I've got my favourite MCM stool that you've seen me sit on a few times, and note it's not here. That's because I've put it somewhere going, yeah, I'll put this here so I won't lose it. God knows what I'm going to be like in old age. You watch. As soon as I go, like, I just cannot find the thing anywhere, and I'll go and see Marty and Moog and say, look, can I get another stool? And I'll bring it back here, and the other one will just be sitting right in front of me, but like it has been the whole time. Okay, so I still need to find a split pin somewhere. I might need to use just a nail or something in the meantime. Oh no, hang on. Still a dag on the side there from where I drilled it. Lynching belt. And that's what it was. It's drilled through that way and it had just a little dag sticking out the other side. It does. Normally. It's funny, when it gets in there, it's fine. Look at that, see? So yeah, it's got a new chain, it's got a new sprocket. No, it's old sprocket, but definitely a new chain. Muddle over the tyre, get some new tyres for it. New adjusters. Or new bolts for the adjusters. Done a lot of work on this. Cross your fingers, we'll see how we go. No, I'm not fat. Ooh. Let's try a bit of choke. Alright, so I just did a little around the car park, came in and parked it, and it's wet itself. So I think we've got a stuck needle of seat or something in the carby, so and back on the stand it goes. Found it. It was in the back seat of the President, which is another job I've got to do. So we know it doesn't have an air filter, so we've got to organise that. I'm going to put that underneath, it's dripping. I don't know if it's this or something else, but I'll put it over there so we can stand on it later. Mikuni Carby. It's probably just either a worn or a stuck needle and seat. It's not a biggie, but it does cause the bike to flood. Sounds a little gritty. Probably because there's no bloody air filter on it, but as I said, I knew about that. I've started looking on the internets for a few parts, that rear mudguard for a start. We need some new stickers. I think we'll repaint the tank, and she should be good. And some new tyres, and powder coat that brake rod. Ugh, knees. As you can see, ended up having to take the airbox out, and there we have our Carby, which is leaking. Not as big as the YZ80J, but these were still sort of a production. They didn't have their own engine. I think they used this engine. It sort of looks like a GT80. They used it on a few different things, this motor, but yeah, later on, like the YZ motor got quite complex, and it ended up with its own thing. This is being the early one. So YZ80, like A, B, C, D, E that I know of, all used this engine with little bits, you know, different porting and whatnot. I'm going to check out the reed valves in a minute just to make sure that they're okay and not cracked or anything, because the last thing you want to do is a reed valve to go through the motor. But yeah, first thing we do is pull this little guy apart and see what's happening on the inside there. Alrighty, so basically all you need to pull one of these apart is, that's about it. Or you might need one of these, but we'll see how we go. Oh, and the smooth taste of Boss. Alright, so why are you leaking? I think it's just probably a stuck needle and seat. I would say it hasn't done a great deal of work, and I want it to do a bit of work and start and stop when it needs to. So let's just have a looky inside here and see what the story is. The guy I bought off, Brendan, was saying that the original tank was rusted out. That's actually a tank off an F, so they had to move things around a little bit. Ooh. Well, that's not right. There she goes. Oh yeah. I think I found the problem, Mavis. Yep. Okay, that's gonna need a clean. So yeah, we just need to clean all the crap out of that, and I think she'll come good. Yeah, look at it. Oh my god. Actually, once got the floats out, which need a really good clean, everything needs it. That's the needle in it. It looks like it could be one of the originals. It doesn't have a rubber tip on it. It's a little bit worn, a bit hard to see. Where it contacts with the bottom of the seat, we'll be pulling that out too. The newer ones have a rubber tip on them, which doesn't wear. Oh, I've got a cut there. I've just got petrol in it. But this could actually be original. The newer ones have a little spring wire gizmo that goes over the float in the middle there that actually holds it up. So it looks like somebody's bent that down anyway. It all needs a really good clean. So that's what we're gonna do. Delicious. That's just really old fuel's been in there for ages. 30 seconds in the blaster. Look at that. Beautiful, like a new one. So we've got the floats clean, the needle, the pin, float pin. I'm going to start taking jets out and cleaning this guy up. Alrighty, so she's all back together. With a bit of luck, it won't leak. If it does leak, then we're going to need a new needle and seat. I think it's probably a good idea to get one anyway. But let's chuck it back on and give it a go. Almost forgot the reed block. I was putting the carby on and went, hang on a minute. So we just need to pull this apart and check our reeds, which are these metal plates here. As the bike pulses, these they're just a one-way valve, fancy one-way valve. Should have actually cleaned that out before I did this. But I can feel the grit and gunk on this too, so this is also going to need a clean up, I think. First one looks pretty good. And you see you can see the wear on it, so they've been there a while. I'd say that they're original. But no cracks, no nothing, that's good. A little bit of a clean and away we go. Okay, second one's good too, so I've been there a long time. You can see by the wear pattern. I mean, these are spring steel, so like they don't wear in a hurry, so even to get a little pattern on them like that, that's going to take a bit of doing. That's good. All right, whack it back together. Hope it doesn't leak after all this. On. Noisy. And smoky. Probably because all the oil has been collecting in the crankcase. Okie dokie, so that's 2 down and 1 to go. So we're just waiting to get the head back from Will for the little XR75 here with the newly helicoiled plug. Then we can put that one all back together. This one's running like a charm. We can actually use the back brake on it now, which we couldn't before because it just went grab, 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 grab. So I had it loose and dried off. But it's working fine now. The brakes actually work quite good there. This little guy is a bit of a firecracker. As you saw on the ride, I had a little bit of problems keeping the front wheel on the ground. Now, you recall that just before I went out, I said, oh, the tyre's a bit flat, so we pumped it up. Yeah, well, I did my high-speed run up and down, and then pulled it into here, and then set up for this shot, and kablamo! Lucky it didn't happen while I was going flat out up and down the car park, so... But this is fast. It's got a lot of power. It's got a heap of power. So, all right, so we just got to wait for the head to come back and then we can finish this whole caboodle off, get that guy going again, and away we go.